Hello, beautiful kindreds. We are going to be talking about the astrological sign of Cancer in this video. So let's get started. The astrological sign of Cancer is a divine feminine sign, which means it's intuitive, spiritual, receptive. Cardinal, which means it has a pioneering spirit. Water sign, again, emotive energy, intuition, compassion. It's naturally ruled by the moon. Okay, the moon talks about how we nurture and nourish ourselves, what makes us feel comfortable, safe in life, and the natural ruler of the fourth house. The fourth house is all about peace, comfort. It's kind of the mother energy, the energy that makes us what kind of defines home for ourselves. Whatever astrological sign rules that house in your birth chart is going to tell you what makes you feel home, right? What makes you feel comfortable, safe, that sort of thing. Okay, so some of the base energy or basic energy for the astrological sign of Cancer is this idea of nurturing, comfort, and protection. So we're going to dive deeper into all of that with our conversation today. And we're going to use tarot to help explain and reiterate some of these ideas connected to Cancerian energy. So we're going to start with the major arcana. But before we do that, I would like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if we're not already connected. Click a like on this video if you find anything helpful. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what are you a Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising? Are you just here to garner more information? Is your partner or someone that you're interested in a Cancer? Do let me down in the comment section below. Okay, so we're going to start with the Chariot. So the Chariot is the the seventh card in the major arcana. And really what the Chariot represents is the power of a decisive mind. Mind in astrology talks about the emotive spaces, right? It's connected to the moon. It talks about the emotive spaces. It's sort of the link between our spiritual selves or our souls and our corporeal existence. Okay, so that's what the mind is. Not to be confused with our intellect, which is logic and reason and what we know, like the information and stuff that we know. That's our intellect, separate from our minds. So the Chariot energy talks about a decisive mind. So when we look at the Chariot card a little closer, we see that this person is ready to go, right? We're ready to go. We have our armor. We're equipped with our wand. We have our transportation, and it's got a little cover on it so we don't get nuked by the sun. We have the power source. We're ready to go, but we're not moving. We're static. Why? Because we've not decided which direction we want to go. And so Cancerian energy kind of holds the power of the mind space, right? And being able to decide which way that we go. And this is done through feeling. Feeling is an intuitive, or can be, or becomes an intuitive part of ourselves. The more that we do it, the more we learn how to feel our way through life and garner information from other locations, not just information. The next major arcana we're going to look at is the moon, which I did a whole deep dive on the moon. So we're not going to spend a ton of time here. There are just a few points that I wanted to call to the surface regarding the moon energy. So the moon, we'll actually stack this right over here. The moon energy is the ultimate divine feminine source, which means that it's the ultimate nurturer. The moon is also connected to reflectivity, because the moon reflects the ego or the sun energy or the self energy, which makes us conscious beings. And because we are conscious beings, then we are also able to connect to other aspects of the life around us. So we're able to make connections. Because we're able to connect to ourselves, we're also able to connect to, other people. So he starts to, talk about like influence and We're connected to path and purpose. We're connected to just, generally just connected to the world around us. The moon energy also represents the duality of our nature. So part of us, the domestic dog, is we want to be socially accepted, right? There's a level of grace and charm and, sort of understanding how the world works and how to treat people and all that sort of stuff. We want to fit in. We want to be able to connect with other people around us, right? So we kind of follow the social rules that are put into place, or we learn how to navigate the social rules that are put into place. And then there's the kind of the wolf side to ourselves, which I would argue is like more of our divine masculine nature. That is a little bit more visceral. It's a little bit more self-focused. There's kind of sort of an instinctual component to it. That it's kind of like what I want, what I need. You're looking after your own safety and your own protection. And these two things coexist. Neither one is good. Neither one is bad. They coexist. They're both necessary in order to navigate this life. Okay, now we're going to look at the Queen of Cups. And I'm going to put together like probably a whole series of stuff on her because I did a deep dive in all the Queen's energy. And so I have like so much information, so much like, yeah, she's amazing. But we're just going to call a couple of points to her energy. The Queen of Cups, first and foremost, is nurturing, right? She represents the nurturing quality, nurturing energy. She's, of course, related to predominant moon energy. But she is the embodiment of water energy. What does that mean? Well, if we look at the tarot card a little bit closer, we will see that she's at this water's edge. So the water represents the collective consciousness, right? And not only is she at the edge, but it's difficult to tell like where her and her garbs start and where the water edge begins because she is the water. She is the water. She is the embodiment of the element of water, which means what? That means she's connected. She's connected to self. She's connected to literally everything else around her and beyond, right? The spiritual spaces, past life, future life, higher self, ancestors, all of that stuff, right? She's connected to all of that stuff. And why? Like how, right? Or like what is the benefit of all of that? Well, one of the benefits of all of that is that you are able to discern the crap out of life. But that's a whole thing. So I captured a lot of my findings in this August 2022 entry. So I'm just going to read an excerpt from this. The Queen of Cups is the embodiment of love, harmony, connection, life essence, emotional protection, the mind, which is our thoughts and feelings, empathy, understanding, grace, beauty, nurturing energy, adaptability, change, spiritual compass, higher and elevated knowledge, and inner strength. I've skipped over some of these things, but you can obviously read it yourself. The Queen of Cups influences through care. Her power to feel what others feel allows her to know exactly what to do and or say, to speak directly to someone's heart. Intuition is her, and she is intuition. She knows without knowing logic or reason to back it up. She doesn't need logic or reason to back it up. Her data is gathered through other means, primarily observation and listening. She pays close attention to what people do, say, how they act, and is able to predict behavior and outcomes. She's able to predict behaviors and outcomes. Her focus in life is all about people, connection, and exerting her power of influence over others' emotions and flowing with the inevitable changes of life. The last thing that I wanted to call out in the card is this idea of protection. So if we zoom in on her face here, and we see how intensely she is looking at that chalice, that is a look of protection, right? That is like mama bear protection look right there. And we also note that this chalice is the only chalice in the entire tarot deck that is covered, that has a cover to it. So this, to me, relates back to the crab, right? The crab shell. We talk about Cancer energy. This idea of protection. You're protecting all the soft and gooey things be inside. Why? Because they are valuable. Okay, and you're doing that through this chalice, and you're watching it like a hawk. You're watching it like a hawk, and you're protecting it because it deserves protection. Now we're going to move on to the minor arcana cards. We're going to start with the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups is one of the more kind of lovely, beautiful energies in the tarot deck, and it's all about connection. So the Two of Cups is all about connectivity. So again, we're back to this thing about connection. Harmony and balance between self, right? So this is kind of the traditional Rider-Waite representation. And on one side, it has a divine feminine entity represented, and on the other side, a divine masculine entity represented. We'll talk more about it. Like, I'll do a whole deep dive of the Two of Cups, but this idea of, again, the harmony and balance between our divine feminine and divine masculine natures to ourselves, making sure that our desires and our will, and the things that make us feel comfortable and safe, those two things are in harmony with each other, right? And in balance with each other. And then that sort of kind of self-connectivity can then extend to others, right? We're bringing in romantic relationships or partnerships, whether it be with a person or with an entity like a job or something like that, right? But this idea of harmony and balance, give and take, and overcoming any obstacles when you are in a place and space of connection and harmony within yourself and with those around you. Now we're going to look at the Three of Cups, which is actually another really beautiful energy that really talks about the enjoyment of connectivity. Sometimes it can feel like a chore, but the Three of Cups is like, this is a beautiful thing. Like, connectivity is a beautiful thing. Yes, it takes work and energy, and yes, you kind of have to fortify yourself first before you venture out, because people are people. But at the end of the day, being able to connect with other people is a beautiful thing, right? And so you should enjoy it, and you should celebrate, and you should partake with others. Numerologically as well, they're very kind of, numerology plays a big role. Like the number 2 is about collaboration, partnership, cooperation, those sorts of things. The number 3 is about kind of socializing, networking. There is a level, could potentially be a level of superficiality to it, quantity over quality sort of things. But that is necessary, right? We need to get out and enjoy life and connect with people and take risks and all of that other kind of stuff, which Cancerian energy has the ability to do because of that cardinal energy, that ability to, that pioneering energy, which is willing to take, risks to a certain level and certain extent, calculated risks. However, a mature Cancer would take calculated risks. Okay. And then the last energy that we're going to look at is the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups, numerologically, the number 4 is about stability. Stability isn't bad in and of itself. The element of water wants to flow. It wants to move. So when water is stable or stationary and not moving and not flowing, it gets stale. So that's really what the Four of Cups is all about. Emotional stagnation. I like to relate it to kind of like meh energy. You kind of don't care about stuff. So Cancerian energy really is about caring, right? Caring, nurturing, pouring into. And when that energy is stagnant, it's like care less. You don't really care about anything. Nothing is really of interest to you. And this is what happens when you spend too much time inside of your little shell, okay? So kind of the Four of Cups to me is like, let's take a step back into the Three of Cups, right? So if you hit the Four of Cups, your energies are stale. I feel like this could also be detrimental, right? Because if your water energies are stale, they're not moving, they're not active, that means you are not connected. You're disconnected. And so your intuition and discernment and kind of all of these benefits that we get from being connected with ourselves and the world around us, they're not activated. We don't have access to them. So again, get out of your shell, get into the world, right? Venture out, get out of your icky spots too. Sometimes get emotionally stuck in these icky spots. And so there's an encouragement to like, get out of that, look up, see the opportunities, take the opportunities that are around you, and move that energy around. It needs to move, it needs to flow in order for, you know, in order for you to be in a place of harmony and peace, which, you know, peace and harmony, these are a part of, you know, the fourth house, like peace and comfort, those sorts of things. And so we want peace, we want harmony. So we have to flow, we have to give, we have to take. We can't just stay in our shells. And I say we because I am a Cancer rising. So yay. To just summarize a little bit, a few things, and to hit some high points for Cancer energy. Cancer energy is about being water energy, embodying water energy, meaning that embodying this idea of being nurturing, protective, and connected, first and foremost to yourself and then to the world around you. And then once you're able to do those things, particularly connecting to yourself, you're then able to use that as a foundation to then go out into the world and connect to things around you. When you're connected, then you can influence the way life moves for you. Keep your water energies flowing, keep them moving. Protect yourself by establishing strong boundaries for yourself, right? They're to protect the squishy goodness that is inside of you. So do yourself that favor. All right, connect, nurture, 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 be water energy. All right, beautiful kindred souls, this is the message that I have pulled forward for you today. Get an introduction to Cancer energy. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, do consider sharing your thoughts down in the comment section below. Click a like on this video if you haven't already. Subscribe, and I will see you in an upcoming message. Bye.